Join me. Together we can rule the galaxy far from sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Hello there, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. This is Todd Hoffman and Trent Hoffman. You're listening to Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 145. Today we're going to be talking about not Star Wars, but still in the sci-fi realm here, I guess, or fantasy realm or something like that. We're going to be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Unfortunately, my little buddy Trent can't join me tonight. He is indisposed at the moment, but we have a little scheduling conflicts every once in a while. But yeah, he's here in Jedi Force Spirit. If you want to catch us out, please catch us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Big T Little T. We're playing Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We're playing we just picked up Lego again, Lego Star Wars. We are playing Fortnite with the Star Wars and all that fun stuff. So check us out there. It's just a lot of fun. I hope you had a great May the 4th. For us, it was super fun. I got to troop a little bit, which was great. We did at our local Costco there at Orland Park here by our house. It was nice. Raised some money for the Children's Foundation for Lori's Children, which is a children's hospital in our local Chicago area. And so that was a lot of fun, just doing that and having Star Wars and doing all that fun stuff. So that was fun. Did a little live stream for May the 4th, which was fun as well. So you can catch that on Twitch. Got to battle a Rancor and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I hope you had fun too. I mean, that's what it's all about. Just hanging out, doing your Star Wars thing. We still have yet to see Return of the Jedi, trying to get to Return of the Jedi, but Trent and I were able to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and oh man, this one is good. This one is really, really, really good. So, it's hard to believe, but this is the 32nd film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is something that I can't even understand or comprehend in my little brain. But yeah, it is obviously Guardians of the Galaxy came out in 2014, Volume 2 came out in 2017, and now we are on the back end. The third film is Volume 3 here. And I'm going to say this up front. Like, Trent leaned to me about halfway through the movie. He's like, Dad, this is like really sad. I just don't know if I like it because it's sad. And I was like, it's going to get better, buddy, but I know what you mean. There's a lot of it really kind of goes through a lot of different emotions. It's an emotional roller coaster. And so yeah, it's pretty cool as far as that. It is debuted on May 5th, 2023. So just been out a couple days. It's doing all right in the box office. I wouldn't say it's great, but I don't know, again, if that's a little... I think the movies are still in a weird spot. I just think we just don't have the right mix yet. I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a good summer film to see. But yeah, I just don't think people are going to the movies as much. I know at my AMC, they raised the price for like sightline seats. I was like, what is this? I'm just going to sit adjacent here. If you sit real close, it's minus $2, but it's like an extra like $2 surcharge for like premium seats. I'm like, man, this is okay, I guess. But yeah, it's interesting. But okay, so we are, just to kind of bring you up to speed. I mean, obviously, going forward from this point, it's all spoilers, but just want to kind of hit the highlights of the plot. So essentially, again, this is phase 5 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and we got essentially, nowhere is the headquarters of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Everything's doing great. Adam Warlock shows up and essentially fatally wounds Rocket. So Rocket is fatally wounded. They try to detain Adam Warlock. He can't. He's very powerful. And so they try to revive Rocket, and he has this kind of kill switch in his heart, which is basically making him not able to receive medical care because he has this kill switch on his heart. Part of his code's missing, so they don't know how to do it, and so they have to travel to the they find out. Nebula kind of goes in and finds out that he's part of this Orgo Corp kind of situation. So they have to travel that and get the override code. That is the main plot of this movie. And so as Rocket lays unconscious and all that kind of fun stuff, he has these flashbacks. So we get kind of the origin story of Rocket. And this is where the sad part is. And for kids, obviously under 13, I would, as a dad, I would be hesitant. Have to be kind of careful with this because it's not graphical in a way, but it is sad. There's a lot of animal testing that happens, and that's where we find out about Rocket, where this high evolutionary guy, is part of Orgo Corp, and he's trying to make the perfect species, if you will. And then so we meet other subjects. There's Lila the otter, Walrus, who is Teefs, and Rabbit, that's Floor, and Rocket because he wants to go to space. So in the event of, he finds out as the high evolutionary is trying to perfect the serum. He's trying to basically create the perfect animal. Rocket figured out his weakness, and the high evolutionary couldn't figure that out because Rocket is kind of a reject, if you will. And so he gets mad and he wants to essentially use his brain but not his body, and so they want to kill Rocket, and Rocket gets winds of this. He creates a little key card, and he's about to escape, but all his friends die in the escape. So Otter Lila, Walrus the Teefs, and Rabbit the Floor, they all do not make it out. And what we find out is that Rocket in the escape rips to shreds like the high evolutionary's face because he's so mad. But he was able to escape. So we have that kind of little plot going on. Gamora is part of the Ravagers, and so again, this is the alternate version of Gamora. Kind of hard to keep track, but basically she doesn't know who she is. She knows that she's the sister of Nebula, but she doesn't recognize Peter and all that kind of stuff. And so they find out where this Orca Cope is. It's in this place called Counter Earth, which is kind of like, I don't know what the word is. Maybe it's anthropomorphized, or am I saying that right? I don't know. They're all animals that look like humans, and they live in a suburb, and it's supposed to be like this whole thing. But Peter, as they're going by, they still witness some bad things, like this dude selling drugs and all this kind of stuff or whatever. But they know it's a trap. They're trying to get in the trap, so the whole crew's there. And as they're being followed by Adam Warlock and Aisha, which is one of the I don't know. I forget what her species is, but we find out that Orgercope, this high evolutionary guy, created the Gold People. I forget their names. The Gold People. I can't remember. Uh, my marvelness is being being shown out. I don't remember that, but they essentially go to counter Earth, and they at the same time. So they got Adam looking for them. They also got whatchamacallit. They got some other people looking for Rocket, and so they the team went to this kind of bio lab thing. This is what we see in the trailer. They kind of look like Among Us astronauts, and they know that it's in this Orgocorp has this kind of biometric or bio kind of space station. It's kind of weird, but they get in there. A couple cameos here, if you're familiar with Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. There's a couple actresses in there, and then we have our boy from gosh, am I blanking on the Firefly? Nathan. So we got him in there. There's a couple little cameos in here, but yeah, they infiltrate. They get the code. They upload the code, and they find out it's not good. So now they find out that this one guy, one of his advisors, might have the actual code and is kind of like a Lobot. If you know Lobot, our boy from Empire Strikes Back, Lando, kind of has this like implant, and so now that's where they go to counter Earth, which is again this animal planet they're good people, suburban people, or whatever. And this is kind of also in the trailer where Drax tries to throw the ball, and it's great. It's great. So they travel to Peter and Groot go to the corporation where Nebula kind of stays back, and the other three Gamoras watching Rocket, and then there's a pig thing. There's this whole thing. So they basically get Rocket, and now they're chasing after Rocket, and Peter and Star-Lord basically and Groot are able to take out most of the goons. The high evolutionary kind of gets away, but yeah, it's great. They're able to escape and get off the planet or get off the spaceship, but the high evolutionary is also blowing up counter Earth, and so they grab the dude with the information, the advisor, and they get the code that they need. But then at the same time, now you have Nebula, Drax, and Mantis trying to rescue them from the kind of big high evolutionary spaceship that's leaving counter Earth, and they get captured while Peter and Groot escape, and there's this thing where they're kind of separated again. Find out that there's a whole children's race here, and yeah, it's a mess. But the team shines. There's some arguments going on, and I think Drax is fantastic. I think everybody, they highlight the good parts of the galaxy or Guardians and what they do for each other, and I think that's done really well. James Gunn has a really cool way of combining music and story, and this one does not disappoint. There's so many good tie-ins with understanding why these characters like each other, and yeah, it's fantastic. During this process, Adam is trying to also get Rocket, and as the planet's blowing up, it kills his mom, Isha, so she's dead, and Adam loses his mind, and yeah, it's just and then so Peter's able to grab the code from this dude, Lobot guy, and upload it, and then they work on saving Rocket. They end up eventually do that. At one point, Rocket looks like he's dying. Trent and I are like bawling our eyes out. Yeah, it's crazy. He has this kind of vision with Lila and Floor and Teefs, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's just heartstrings and everything. And yeah, but he survives, comes back. They go rescue the team. There's another sweet moment with Drax, and he's helping with imprisoned uh, troops, and he's like, "Oh, I can talk to them," and he does this monkey, but it's actually a robot that he does, and it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite scenes. Um, and the team gets back together, and they get back into the spaceship. Nowhere shows up, kind of from hyperspace or hyper jumping, and they blowing up things. Everything's getting blown up, and so they get back and infiltrate this kind of the high evolutionaries kind of warship or whatever. He's losing his mind. He's like, "What? I'm gonna get him," and do all this stuff. And um, Mantis is able to kind of use those battery Sarlacc pit people species. I forget what they're called, but basically she shows her power. I think it's called a obelisk or something like that. Anyways, they do all that stuff. They reunite, and then we have this No Sleep to Brooklyn kind of mashup. They're all killing all these people or these like mutant little things, and they get to the point where they rescue the kids. Kids get off, and then Rocket finds other animals that they're testing, and there's this whole litter of like raccoons, and it's just so sweet. And then the high evolutionary shows up, and it's so good. We think that Rocket's going to die, but then they all show up and take a piece of the high evolutionary. Then there's like this face off thing where they literally take his face off, and he's kind of like this Skeletor dude because Rocket really tore him up. And yeah, it's great. But Cosmo too, our Russian dog, using telekinesis to help get the ship intact with them to get over. There's this kind of Noah's Ark moment. There's also a Yandu moment. Yes, Yandu's like, hey, you got to use your heart. And yeah, that's for, I forget what that guy's name. It's Gunn's brother's name. Yeah. It's great. It's great. It's great. Kraglin. Yeah, Kraglin. He can't use the arrow. That's kind of a running bit for that. And yeah, it's just so much fun. It's super, super cool. And they get him out. Peter's trying to escape, and he loses his like little Zune thing, and he goes back for it, and then he tries to make the jump, and he gets stuck and kind of frozen in place like we saw with Yandu. Groot tries to reach out to him, and his arms are frozen, and it's just not looking good for Star-Lord. I'm like, no, Star-Lord can't die. Please don't die. And then Adam Warlock shows up and saves the day, and they come back into nowhere, and they rescue all the animals. Everyone's great. And Star-Lord's like, well, did it at least look cool? Yes, of course it looked cool, but it wasn't cool that you almost die. Yeah, it's great. So then we have this thing at the end, which is kind of bringing finality around it, is that Quill's like, hey, I've been running my whole life. I need to go back and see if I have family. And he bestows upon the captain, if you will, which is Rocket. And so Mantis also wants to kind of embark on her self-discovery journey, but Gamora wants Gamora leaves with the Ravagers, and Nebula and Drax stay behind in nowhere to raise the rescued children. Everybody's dancing and having a good time. It's a really cool way to end the film. Peter going back, he kind of goes back home and sees his dad. We get to see his grandfather, which is awesome. And yeah, it's just a really cool ending. I can't say enough about James Gunn. I just think he does a really good job. He gets the superhero genre, really gets the Guardians, and his musical choices are just on point. This whole series, everything with Guardians, music's been on point, but Volume 3 doesn't disappoint. Two end credit scenes. You have Guardians, the new Guardians. You have Rocket, Groot, Cosmo, Kraglin, Adam, and one of the rescued children. I don't know her name. They're on this mission, and they kind of taking out these weird Fox people. But yeah, they play a song that originally played in Volume 1. That's kind of like the little Easter egg. And then there's just one where Peter's eating breakfast with his dad. There's a little Easter egg about on his newspaper. It just basically says something to the effect of Kevin Bacon abducted by aliens. He's telling all, which is reference to the holiday special. Yeah, it's really good. And then it does say Star-Lord will return, which was interesting. I think that's the only thing I'm having a problem with Phase 5 is that it just doesn't seem like we're getting the big, what is it? It's just like, you knew that there's this big build up to Thanos or whatever, and we're just not getting that kind of big thing in here in Phase 5. But other than that, it's great. This was really good. I really enjoyed it. You got to check it out. I would, again, as a parent, as a dad, I would just caution about this one. It's not horrible. It's not horrible or scary or anything like that. I think it's just a little sensitive if you're got an animal lover or something like that and it's a younger kid. I'd just be careful of that because it is, what they do to Rocket, it's not cool. Not cool at all. But yeah, we get to see a little bit of that. Again, if you watch Peacemaker or anything like that, we got a couple of alum in Peacemaker, the bad guys, one of the guys in Peacemaker and stuff like that. So it's cool that James Gunn is using that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a little crazy, but highly recommend this film. It's so good. It's brings some Kleenex. It's an emotional roller coaster, but really pays off in the end. And I think it's a really good ending to the Guardians, and hopefully we get to see a little bit more of them soon. So there you have it. Episode 145 is in the books. You can check us out on the socials, Big T Lil T Podcast on Instagram, BLILT Podcast on Twitter, and then again, twitch.tv/Big T Lil T. Love to see you over there. Definitely check us out as we game, mostly on the weekends. Every once in a while, we surprise you, but hey, you never know. So, hey, we got stickers. We want to hear from you. So comment, tweet, rate us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to see that rating and read it on the air next time. If we're live or we're not live, it's still air. It's still podcasting, whatever. You can email us at bigtltpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to drop us a question or give us a rating, definitely do it there. Hopefully soon we'll be talking about Return of the Jedi. We have yet to see it, and I'm very sad that we haven't, but the local AMC that we usually go to is not playing Return of the Jedi. What? So with Mother's Day coming up and all that fun stuff, we'll probably have to delay it one more week. But again, to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. To Jen, thank you for being the best space mom in the galaxy. Appreciate you so much. But yeah, hopefully we'll catch you guys soon with a little Return of the Jedi update. But remember, truly wonderful the mind of a child is, and may the Force be with you always. Bye. 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 See you later. Bye.